The bright morning sun poured through the tall windows of the Riverside Community Martial Arts Center, painting long golden stripes across the polished training mats. Parents filled the wooden benches with cameras ready, children laughed nervously as they adjusted their uniforms, and instructors proudly watched another day of belt demonstrations begin. No one imagined that within the next hour, one simple challenge would become a lesson about humility, courage, and the hidden strength that cannot be measured by age, appearance, or rank. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness, respect, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Dad's Soul Diaries so you never miss another heart-touching story. Among the visitors quietly sitting near the back was a woman named Maren Holt. She looked nothing like the people most imagined when they pictured a warrior. She wore simple jeans, a plain gray sweatshirt, comfortable sneakers, and carried herself with calm confidence instead of pride. Her hair was tied neatly behind her head, and a small scar near her eyebrow hinted at a past few people could understand. She had come only to support her 11-year-old nephew, who had recently earned his green belt. She hoped to clap proudly, take a few photographs, congratulate him, and quietly return home before sunset. Very few people in the building knew that for over a decade Maren had served as a Navy SEAL combat medic, spending years saving wounded teammates in dangerous combat zones where every second meant the difference between life and death. She had witnessed fear beyond imagination, yet she never spoke about it because she believed true strength never needed an audience. The demonstration continued smoothly as children performed forms, board breaks, and controlled sparring matches. Applause echoed throughout the gym with every successful performance. Then the instructor invited several advanced black belts to display freestyle combinations for the younger students. Among them stood 19-year-old Tyler Brooks, an exceptionally talented martial artist with remarkable speed and impressive tournament trophies. He had won regional championships, collected medals, and enjoyed the admiration of nearly everyone in the academy. Unfortunately, success had slowly replaced humility with arrogance. Tyler had begun believing that skill alone made someone important. While waiting for his turn, Tyler noticed Maren standing near the edge of the training floor after helping her nephew tie his belt correctly. Seeing an unfamiliar middle-aged woman near the mats amused him. Wanting attention from the crowd, he loudly suggested that every spectator should experience martial arts at least once before judging the athletes. Laughter spread through several younger students. Someone jokingly pointed toward Maren. Tyler smiled confidently and motioned for her to step onto the mat, convinced she would awkwardly decline. Instead, she smiled politely, thanked him for the invitation, and removed her shoes with complete composure. The room suddenly became quiet. Maren walked across the mat without any sign of nervousness. Her posture was relaxed, her breathing steady, and every movement carried quiet discipline developed over countless years. Tyler bowed casually, assuming this would be nothing more than an amusing moment before returning to his demonstration. The head instructor carefully watched the woman's calm expression and sensed something unusual. Experience had taught him that truly dangerous people rarely tried to look dangerous. The instructor asked whether Maren had any previous training. She answered simply that she had practiced enough to appreciate discipline and hoped everyone stayed safe. Her words sounded ordinary, but the instructor noticed her hands. The faded scars across her knuckles and forearms told stories no words ever could. Tyler attacked confidently with controlled speed intended to impress rather than injure. His movements were technically excellent, and the audience admired his precision. Maren stepped aside effortlessly each time, never wasting energy. She barely moved, allowing his momentum to pass harmlessly by. Several exchanges later Tyler's confidence began fading. He realized she seemed to predict every movement before he even committed to it. The crowd noticed it too. Then the instructor quietly nodded toward Maren. "Now your turn." Those three simple words completely changed the atmosphere. Maren moved once. Only once. She flowed forward with astonishing control, redirected Tyler's balance without striking him, gently guided him onto the mat, and secured him so perfectly that he could not escape despite using all of his strength. There was no violence, no anger, no humiliation. Within seconds she released him, stepped back respectfully, and offered her hand to help him stand. Silence filled the gym. The applause never came immediately because everyone was still trying to understand what they had witnessed. Parents stared in disbelief. Children looked at one another with wide eyes. Even the instructors exchanged surprised glances. Tyler stood motionless, realizing the woman he had mocked had completely outperformed him without hurting him in the slightest. The head instructor approached Marin and quietly asked where she had trained. She hesitated, uncomfortable discussing herself, but finally admitted she had served as a Navy SEAL combat medic for many years. Her duties required mastering defensive tactics, emergency battlefield medicine, survival, and protecting wounded teammates while under unimaginable pressure. The room became completely silent again, this time out of deep respect instead of surprise. Marin explained that combat had taught her something far greater than fighting. Every scar on her hands reminded her of someone she could not save. Every successful mission reminded her that teamwork mattered more than individual glory. She said the strongest people she had ever known were often the quietest because they understood how much pain existed in the world. Real strength was never about proving someone else was weak. It was about helping people become stronger together. Tyler lowered his head. The confidence that had once looked like pride now transformed into genuine humility. For the first time in years he realized that trophies had convinced him he had reached the top, when in reality he had only begun his journey. He apologized sincerely, not because he had lost, but because he had forgotten the true purpose of martial arts. The instructor gathered every student around the mat and asked Marin if she would share one lesson from her years of service. She looked at the children sitting cross-legged before her and told them that fear visits everyone. Even the bravest soldiers feel afraid. Courage is choosing to protect others anyway. Respect is treating every stranger as someone who might carry invisible battles. Kindness is often the greatest demonstration of strength because anyone can throw a punch, but very few can choose compassion when pride demands otherwise. Her words settled deeply into every heart inside the building. After the ceremony ended, Tyler quietly found Marin outside beneath the bright afternoon sky. Families were leaving with smiles, children proudly carrying new belts over their shoulders, and warm daylight filled the parking lot. Tyler thanked her for not embarrassing him in front of everyone. She smiled gently and reminded him that everyone makes mistakes, especially when they're young. What defines a person is not the mistake itself but what they choose to become afterward. Those words stayed with him. Months passed, and the academy slowly changed. Tyler became known not only as its most skilled competitor but also as its most encouraging mentor. He stayed after class to help beginners, volunteered at youth events, and celebrated other students' victories instead of seeking attention for himself. Parents noticed the difference. Younger children admired him for entirely different reasons. His greatest victory was no longer winning tournaments but becoming someone worthy of respect. Marin never returned seeking recognition. She quietly continued volunteering with veterans, mentoring military families, and helping communities recover after natural disasters. Most people never discovered her extraordinary past, and that was exactly how she preferred it. She believed the greatest heroes rarely introduce themselves as heroes. Years later, Tyler himself became an instructor. On the first day of every beginner class, he shared a simple lesson without mentioning names. He told every student never to underestimate the quiet person standing in the corner. More importantly, never underestimate the power of humility. Skill can earn applause, but character earns trust, and trust lasts much longer than trophies. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that kindness is stronger than pride, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Dad's Soul Diaries to help us continue sharing stories that inspire hope. Special request, please comment one word below, respect, if you believe true strength always begins with humility. As the sun slowly drifted lower across the clear daytime sky, the training hall grew quiet once again. The footprints left on the mats faded, the cheers became distant memories, and another ordinary day came to an end. Yet everyone who had witnessed those unforgettable moments carried home something far more valuable than a martial arts lesson. They learned that appearances often hide extraordinary stories, that arrogance can disappear in a single moment of truth, and that the strongest people are usually those who never feel the need to prove their strength. Long after medals lose their shine and trophies gather dust, kindness, humility, courage, and respect continue shaping lives for generations. That quiet lesson, delivered without anger and remembered with gratitude, became the greatest victory anyone in that room would ever witness.